Yes, we'll be back from that break. It's exactly 5 minutes. That is past 8. This is Smart Means Business. I'm Andrew Barije and definitely here with Masika Katsime, and we are driving you through all the way. And today's main topic of discussion is going to be rotating around cybersecurity. And as we get to need to understand that it's a personal responsibility for every person to ensure that actually you keep your accounts quite stable. But of course, before that, I would love to remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform are going to be on anytime from now. Just a countdown as we speak right now. And to participate, it's quite very simple. You just dial *292# which is simply the USSD code, and once you dial this, you will be in position to actually buy government bonds and securities for just 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the markets will be opening at 8:15 a.m. and they'll be running all the way, that is to 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends or the public holidays when you can access them. But like I always say, you always at least have these other days to make money, and quite lots of fraud schemes that are happening to the country. So Zabo is the ultimate security for you, where you can actually have your funds secured, and that's why it comes out and boldly tells you that it's your money, it's your future. And Altex East Africa tells you that, well, we need to do something new for ourselves. It is 2023. Well, on Smart Means Business, we believe in inspiration because we know we are very certain for sure that for you to make it, it's way beyond. You may be having the resources, you may be having the connections, right?
Yeah.
But you may not be inspired.
Of course, you know, it starts with being inspired, then it goes to how you're going to perform. You have to start the day inspired, motivated. You know, you have to have something that wakes you up in the morning. So imagine you're demoralized, well, you have work, but then how are you going to start? Someone, I think, is there on their computer, and they're like, okay. Okay, how do I start?
How do I start? I mean, that is key.
Yeah, that is really key.
I believe you, man. I mean, that is very true. How do you start? But once you have an inspiration, you know that, hey, I have where to start from. Well, let's get into this for now, and we'll be returning as me and Marcy break down these inspiration quotes, of course, as we proceed with our topic of discussion on cybersecurity. Well, having a strategy for a year ahead is quite key. But now I think that it's much more better when you have a strategy for 10 years ahead.
Yeah, you know, for the start, you could start with 1 year, then 5, then, you know, actually it doesn't start from year. Okay, for a year, you start with quarter, half year.
Exactly.
You know, so that with time, if you see you're growing, you could plan 10 years ahead, 20 years ahead, but then you should always have a strategy. Even if you're not working, even if you're not, if you're employed or you're not, if you're employed or you're self-employed, you have to have a plan.
A plan.
Even if you're a student, even maybe for babies, we have to excuse them. whichever category you're in, you have to have a plan for next year. I believe some people have already a plan for next year. They have their calendar ready. A, B, C, and D is going to take place unless maybe circumstances of life, come in. Crises,
Very true.
Yeah.
Because I believe plans have to be to the detail.
Oh, yeah.
When you have, what is next, the how, when, which, or who, and all those perspectives are quite very key. Then there is, we had something about the cost of being wrong. It's not compared to the cost of doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it's more like better late than never.
Yeah, better than never. You'd rather be wrong than do nothing, really. At least when you're wrong, you did try. You did try at the end of the day.
I love there is a rapper called Drake where he say that there is one of his lyrics where he say that they say better late than never, but never late is better. Anyway, perfect to that. But anyway, there is a quote I loved some time back we did, and it was all relating to that. What was it saying? Actually, it's not very far. Oh, overnight success. Actually took a long time. Okay, I feel like this thing is quite very important. That you see, we see people, probably that person is 20 years and they seem to be having it all.
Yeah.
But
you don't know how long it took for them to
reach there. Yeah, because by the time you saw them at 20 and they are good, and you're like, oh, this person is great. Meaning there is a 7 years you don't know about their life, their journey to reach somebody. That's why some people will tell you, get experience in what you're doing. Because you never know. If I'm 30 years, I take 10 years, we call it the wilderness.
Yeah.
You train at 40, you move heights because it's key to build a foundation. And the deeper the foundation, the higher you go. And the shorter, it's going to be easier for you to reach there. I've seen, most especially when it comes to the music industry, I've seen artists that have blown up, but they couldn't maintain it. And you ask yourself, this person came, they're down. Okay, personally, I love relating so much with the foreign artists because they kind of represent quite so many aspects. Here, there's a rapper some time back, I've mentioned him before, his name is called Trinidad James. He did a track where he was saying gold, everything gold and white. But the track made hits. He got a record label to study with Def Jam. But you see, surprisingly, he didn't have a background of rap music. He had just started. It's more like how you go to studio and somebody tells you, but you can't sing. Then somehow you go to studio and you do it and it comes out big, and you are the record-selling artist at the moment. But you don't have the experience of that. So it's quite very important that we seek for experience in everything we do, because I believe once you perfect that, you get to understand the beauty of it all. Well, that is it for our inspiration moment. Now we're heading into the discussion for today about cybersecurity. And by the way, it's the Global Cybersecurity Awareness Month. Every month of October is actually a Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And we can see Ugandans, if you compare reports for the 2021, it shows you that 2022 had most cybersecurity cases recorded, about 400.
Oh my goodness, 400 in just 1 year.
In 1 year. But if you look at 2020, when you look at 2021, the cases were about 200. I don't remember the actual figures, but at least I'm certain in 200, and now here they increased to about 400. But so what does that indicate? To me, it shows me that actually people are getting to know that they're entitled to be protected, their data to be protected. That means they're aware. Unlike those days when you're hacked and you take it normal.
Like, oh, maybe it's just something.
Yeah, something, because you're not aware that there is cybersecurity. And I guess we are registering some progress.
Yeah, we are registering some progress. Like I was reading in the papers, and of course, these, they were actually advising the small and medium enterprises to have protect themselves from cyber threats, starting from mobile phones, from to computers and other, you don't know where it could come from. So they were, telling them to actually be careful, have insurance, first of all. Yeah, much as you are small, of course mobile money also is affected as well at the end of the day.
Yeah,
there are threats that come in. Yeah, so definitely we have to be cautious. This awareness is actually very, very, very key. Now that we are transitioning, evolving, we're going to be digital soon, and now hackers are also evolving. The technology is going far. They're learning new techniques. So so definitely, how about we be safe in case maybe there is a hack or an attack, or maybe a virus on your computer, you can be able to protect yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Maybe now, as we take a look at what are some of the strategies we have that we see the government has actually put in place to ensure that they have some sort of cybersecurity cases in there, as we can see.
Well, of course, we have here, of course, raising public awareness about cybersecurity. Now that I don't think actually people have realized the importance of cybersecurity. You ask someone, I asked a friend, do you know there is a, they're like, no, I don't know. I mean, like, what world are you living in? We are evolving. Do you know your social media account can be hacked? And maybe we've seen things leak.
Yeah.
So there is also have to be aware. There is that issue that is coming up with the new technologies and the digital systems we're getting into. So people have to be aware. And of course, for instance, in Uganda we have NITA. NITA has developed a cybersecurity awareness curriculum for schools and universities. Quite amazing. So it starts from childhood, then you go, you learn, keep learning. So I may have been telling people, you've also been telling people to actually invest in cybersecurity courses, because that's the future. That's the future now.
And I'll do that with time to come.
That's the future.
I want to be a cybersecurity expert. Yeah. I mean, it's the way to go. Now, maybe just to add on what Masi said, we see that developing, the government of Uganda actually has implemented a number of strategies to cap cybersecurity that is within the country. And one of them is actually developing a national cybersecurity strategy. We saw this happening, and that was in the year 2021. The government launched a national cybersecurity strategy, which outlines that is a number of measures to be taken to protect, that is attacks. Cyber attacks, and these measures included what, of course, with Master said, awareness campaigns, promoting international cooperation on cybersecurity, and of course, strengthening the country's cybersecurity infrastructure and capabilities. And now, of course, there was also what we call establishing a national cybersecurity center. In 2019, the government established that center, which is responsible for coordinating, that is the country's cybersecurity efforts. And the Uganda Communications Commission the National Cybersecurity has a number of roles, including monitoring and responding to cyber attacks. And definitely all this is, they work hand in hand with the Uganda Communications Commission actually, and a number of cybersecurity related private companies within this nation work hand in hand with the Uganda Communications Commission. Now, we also saw the enacting of the cybersecurity legislation.
Oh yeah.
That was in 2022. The government enacted the Computer Misuse Amendment Act.
Oh yeah.
Which caused quite lots of rounds, which criminalizes a number of cyber-related offenses, that is including hacking, data breaches, spreading misinformation online.
That is key. But anyway, here, sitting in this beautiful report, we see what transpired yesterday during this campaign. We see actually there was this Priscilla Mutebi, who is a data protection officer at Y Technologies, actually said that she explained that the police recently indicated that over 20 billion was lost to cybercrime. Due to among others misuse of phone and computer passwords, leading to access to computer data, emails, and other computer secret information. People who don't log out. People who don't log out.
What are you trying to say when you say people who don't log out?
People who don't log
You're
out their
overemphasizing that it sounds
People
like
who
you're
don't
hitting
log-
at someone.
Yeah. People have cases of people who don't log
Out their
And people-
accounts.
And have to be the emphasis has to be on passwords actually. Create a very complicated password that someone can take a while to penetrate in.
Actually, there is a password tester. It's on an online website. You can actually put your password in there, and it will tell you how long will it take for that password to be.
Did you hack it?
Yeah. So if it tells you 2 seconds, change that password. There are passwords you put in, and it tells you 100 years. That is okay.
Wow.
It will take 100 years for somebody to crack your password. Some told you 10 weeks and all that. So accordingly to what the result you get.
I believe
gives
most
a
of us
decision.
is just 2 seconds.
No,
Because
sure.
in this, by the way, because mentally people are like, you know what, I need to create a password that I can remember. So
Exactly.
the only thing is your birthday or maybe.
That's the most risky. Those are the most risky passwords. But you see, passwords which have numbers, there are also letters, alphabet letters, and let me say things like art
Encrypted.
and comma. Those are
But you
those are
realize
reliable.
actually, most of the people that have strong passwords are people that have done IT. I've just realized someone has a full. You can't even think.
It's, IT is about, most of them are developers, so they code. So sometimes they use the codes to actually act as passwords. So there is no way you can hack into that account.
Oh my goodness, impressive. And of course, she actually said that the levels of cyber attacks and threats have become more frequent and more damaging, which calls for carelessness and, of course, thoughtfulness and intentionality when dealing with them. Now, she also advised that where necessary, SMEs should borrow external expertise to boost and test their defense mechanisms, share information, and they should invest in setting up security infrastructure, firewalls, and regular software updates. Yeah, these are things we used to do in high school and computer studies, and we're like, firewalls, what is that? But now you really come to think of it that this is serious.
Very serious, actually. And maybe just to add on that, in 2021 still, the Ugandan government allocated 10 billion Ugandan shillings, that is US dollars, to cybersecurity. So that was quite an effective strategy. And the National Cybersecurity Center has responded. Now, we're taking a look at some of the successful aspects that, and we are attributing them to the government to make sure that they curb cybercrime within the country, Uganda. Now, the National Cybersecurity Center has responded at over 100 cybersecurity incidents since its establishment, that is in 2019. And in 2022, we also get to observe that the government arrested and charged over 20 people for cyber-related offenses. And these were people, of course, charged in that, though the reported cases were about 200. 200 people, but of course the people weren't able to be noted. Actually, 2022 there are about 400, yeah. Now, the government has also partnered with a number of international organizations to deliver cybersecurity training and education programs in Uganda. At the same time, yes, there are already ones that are going on which involve, actually, the Uganda Communications Commission had a cybersecurity challenge last year with over a number of universities, and I remember winners actually were given scholarships to study. One of the key elements of cybersecurity for you to have a successful career in cybersecurity, you need to be certified. And being certified, that means you have to go to an institute to get that certificate and you have to study. So those were some of the benefits that they actually benefited from being part of that competition to enhance their cybersecurity careers. And now that is also examples. Now, also still in 2021, the National Cyber Center launched public awareness campaign on cybersecurity, and the campaign reached over 1 million people, according to my statistics here, and helped to raise awareness of cybersecurity and of cybersecurity risks and the best practices to avert possible cybersecurity attacks. Now, also in 2022, just last year, the government launched a cybersecurity training program for government employees, and the program has trained over 1,000. That is government employees on cybersecurity best practices. Now, this very year, the government is partnering with the private sector to develop a national cybersecurity response plan, and the plan will help to improve the country's ability, and that is to respond to cybersecurity attacks. So you can see the public sector and the private sector working hand in hand to ensure that this is actually very effective. Well, as we proceed ahead, definitely we shall be taking a look at further aspects in here, because we need to understand that away from the responsibility that is being executed by the different stakeholders in this industry, for example, the cybersecurity companies, security experts within the ICT departments of government agencies, we also need to understand that cybersecurity is a personal responsibility. You don't need to be a cybersecurity expert for you to, avoid a cyber attack. No. It's everyone's responsibility. It's knowledge, at least. Okay, you may not go into the depths of understanding firewalls and everything, but at least you need to have basics of how you can actually keep your account safe. Well, it's 26 minutes past 8. Now, as I speak right now, the markets on the Zabo platform are already on. And remember, all this conversation on Smart Means Business are proudly brought to you by Zabo, which is a platform from Alltex. And this just made your trading experience much more easy and friendly. Now, what happens here? You just dial *292#, and once you finish dialing that, you're going to be given a number of options where you can select buy bond securities. It could be a 5-year bond, depending on when the bond matures actually. So with just 15,000 you get a shillings. So you can still choose to invest more than 15,000, but Zabo says, well, you can start with little and we grow together. Now the markets open every 8:15 a.m. up to 3:15 p.m. That is East African time, effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when those markets cannot be accessed. But anyway, Zabo boldly tells you that it's your money, it's your future, and Alltex East Africa tells you to that you got to do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Well, now we take a break, and coming up is business and entertainment and sports.
Smart 24, driving business.